Nestled in the Balkans, Albania remains an enigma. For decades, Albania was cut off from the world under a communist regime. But what led to this isolation? Albania's story is one of resilience and transformation. Amidst remnants of a bygone era, a new Albania is emerging. The comparison to North Korea is not unfounded. Both nations share a history of rigid communist rule and strict control. Like North Korea, Albania under Enver Hoxha was marked by a cult of personality. The parallels are a stark reminder of the human cost of totalitarianism. To understand Albania's isolation, we must understand Enver Hoxha. Hoxha's Albania was a land frozen in time, cut off from the world. Contact with foreigners was forbidden, creating a society shrouded in fear. Hoxha's paranoia turned Albania into a hermit kingdom. Enver Hoxha emerged from World War II as a figure of power. He promised a utopian future, but masked darker ambitions. His methods were brutal, eliminating rivals and silencing dissent. Fear became the primary tool of governance. Albania's turbulent past fostered a sense of vulnerability. Hoxha exploited this insecurity, presenting himself as the guarantor of sovereignty. Distrust deepened after Stalin's death, leading Hoxha to sever ties with the Soviet Union. This isolation left Albania's economy crippled and its people under tighter control. Hoxha's grip on Albania tightened with each passing year. The Sigurimi, Hoxha's secret police, created an atmosphere of fear. Propaganda masked the darker truth of a nation held hostage. Education became a tool of indoctrination, glorifying Hoxha. Every word and action was scrutinized by unseen eyes. Neighbors spied on neighbors, creating constant suspicion. Public spaces became stages for carefully crafted performances. The fear of being branded an enemy stifled genuine expression. The Sigurimi cast a long shadow over Albanian society. Arbitrary arrests and torture were common. Many victims perished, their stories silenced forever. The Sigurimi's reign left a legacy of fear and trauma. Conformity became a survival strategy under Hoxha's regime. The pressure to conform influenced every aspect of life. Trust became rare, with genuine conversations replaced by scripted exchanges. The fear of being branded an enemy isolated individuals. The price of dissent was steep under Hoxha's regime. Labor camps awaited those deemed enemies of the state. Conditions were harsh, designed to crush hope. Enforced disappearances became a chilling hallmark of the regime. Hoxha's obsession with control extended far beyond the realm of politics and economics. He sought to mold not just the actions, but the very thoughts and beliefs of his citizens, creating a cultural landscape as insular and tightly controlled as any prison yard. Foreign influences, deemed decadent and subversive, were ruthlessly purged from Albanian society. The country became a cultural island, cut off from the artistic, literary and intellectual currents that shaped the outside world. Western music, films and literature were strictly forbidden, deemed threats to the ideological purity of Hoxha's socialist utopia. Possession of such contraband could result in severe punishment, ranging from fines and imprisonment to, in some cases, even death. The airwaves were dominated by state-sanctioned propaganda, endless paeans to Hoxha's genius and the glories of Albanian socialism. Traditional Albanian culture, too, faced the regime's censorious gaze. Religious practices deemed superstitious and backward were suppressed. Churches and mosques were closed, converted into warehouses or gymnasiums. Religious leaders were persecuted, forced to renounce their faith or face imprisonment. Hoxha sought to eradicate any vestige of independent thought or belief, replacing it with unwavering devotion to the party and its ideology. The result was a cultural landscape stripped bare, devoid of the vibrancy and diversity that characterize a healthy society. Artists, writers, and musicians were forced to toe the party line, producing works that glorified the regime and its achievements. Innovation and creativity were stifled, replaced by a stifling conformity that permeated every aspect of cultural life. The crushing weight of Hoxha's regime sought to extinguish every spark of individuality, every whisper of dissent. Yet, even in the darkest of times, the human spirit proved impossible to fully suppress. Acts of resistance, often subtle and unseen, flickered beneath the surface of Albanian society. They were whispers in the dead of night, coded messages shared between trusted friends, a knowing glance that spoke volumes in a climate of fear and paranoia. People found ways to carve out tiny spaces of freedom, to reclaim a semblance of agency in a world where every aspect of life was controlled. They tuned into forbidden radio stations, risking severe punishment to catch a glimpse of the world beyond Hoxha's Iron Curtain. They shared smuggled books and magazines, passing them from hand to hand like precious treasures, their pages filled with ideas that challenged the regime's suffocating orthodoxy. Even within the confines of their homes, Albanians found ways to resist. They preserved fragments of their cultural heritage, passing down forbidden songs and stories to their children in hushed tones. They clung to their religious beliefs, practicing their faith in secret, finding solace and strength in the face of persecution. These small acts of defiance, seemingly insignificant in isolation, collectively represented a powerful affirmation of the human spirit's refusal to be broken. The regime's attempts to control every aspect of daily life were often met with quiet subversion. Workers, forced to endure long hours in factories and fields, found ways to sabotage production quotas, to slow the wheels of the regime's economic machine. Farmers, resentful of collectivization policies, hid crops and livestock, ensuring the survival of their families and communities. These acts of economic resistance, while risky, chipped away at the regime's authority, revealing the limits of its power. In the face of such pervasive oppression, acts of kindness and solidarity took on a profound significance. They were lifelines in a sea of fear, offering glimpses of humanity amidst the dehumanizing machinery of the state. These acts, often small and unassuming, helped sustain the human spirit, reminding people that they were not alone, that even in the darkest of times compassion could still bloom. Neighbors, bound together by a shared sense of vulnerability, looked out for one another. They shared what little food they had, knowing that the regime's economic policies left many struggling to survive. They offered comfort and support to those who had lost loved ones to the regime's prisons and labor camps, whispering words of consolation and hope in hushed tones. Within the walls of their homes, families created havens of warmth and affection, spaces where they could momentarily shed the masks of fear and suspicion they wore in public. Parents told their children stories of a time before Hoxha, sharing memories of a freer, more vibrant Albania. Grandparents whispered prayers, passing down their faith like a precious inheritance, nurturing a sense of hope that transcended the bleak realities of the present. Even in the regime's prisons and labor camps, where conditions were designed to crush the human spirit, acts of solidarity flickered like embers in the ashes. Prisoners, bound together by shared suffering, found ways to support one another. They shared their meager rations, offered words of encouragement, and created small acts of beauty and meaning amidst the squalor. These acts of defiance, born of desperation and hope, served as powerful reminders of the enduring strength of the human spirit. The legacy of Hoxha's regime extended far beyond his death in 1985. The scars of decades of repression ran deep, etched into the very soul of Albanian society. The fear and suspicion that had permeated daily life did not simply vanish overnight. The weight of silence, of unspoken truths and unaddressed traumas continued to hang heavy over the nation. For many, the transition to a more open society was fraught with difficulty. The years of enforced conformity had taken their toll, leaving many struggling to adapt to a world where they were no longer told what to think, what to believe, how to live their lives. The skills required to navigate a pluralistic society, to engage in open and honest dialogue, to trust those outside one's immediate circle, had been systematically eroded. The task of confronting the past, of seeking justice for the crimes of the regime, proved equally daunting. The Sigurimi's network of informants had been vast and pervasive, leaving many unsure of whom to trust. The fear of retribution, of being branded a collaborator or an enemy of the new order, lingered, preventing many from speaking openly about their experiences. The weight of unspoken truths cast a long shadow over personal relationships. Families torn apart by suspicion and mistrust struggled to rebuild broken bonds. Former neighbors, once complicit in the regime's system of surveillance, averted their gazes, haunted by the memories of their actions. The process of healing, of reconciliation, was slow and painful, a journey fraught with emotional landmines. Despite the enduring legacy of Hoxha's regime, a spirit of resilience and hope flickered within the hearts of the Albanian people. Like wildflowers pushing through cracks in concrete, they yearned for a brighter future, for a chance to reclaim their place in the world. The journey was arduous, marked by setbacks and uncertainties, but the determination to rebuild their lives and their nation burned bright. With the fall of the regime, the floodgates of change opened. The outside world, once shrouded in fear and propaganda, came rushing in. New ideas, new technologies, new ways of thinking challenged the old dogmas, offering a dizzying array of possibilities. The transition was not without its challenges. Economic hardship, political instability, and social upheaval marked the early years of Albania's post-communist era. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a new Albania began to emerge. Young people, eager to embrace the opportunities denied to their parents' generation, flocked to universities, embracing new fields of study, challenging old assumptions. Entrepreneurs, sensing the potential of a newly opened market, established businesses, injecting much-needed dynamism into the economy. The scars of the past, while still visible, began to fade as a new generation, unburdened by the weight of history, came of age. They embraced the world with open arms, eager to learn, to connect, to contribute. This new generation, shaped by the hardships of the past but determined to create a different future, held the key to Albania's transformation. They carried within them the seeds of a more open, more prosperous, more hopeful Albania. The death of Enver Hoxha in 1985 sent shockwaves through Albania. The man who ruled with an iron fist for over 4 decades was gone. The system he built began to tremble. Albania emerged from a long, dark tunnel, blinking in the light of freedom. The transition was marked by economic hardship and political instability. The Iron Curtain began to crumble. From pariah to partner, navigating the unfamiliar waters of diplomacy. For decades, Albania under Hoxha had been a pariah state, isolated and mistrusted by its neighbors. Its self-imposed isolation had turned it into a blank spot on the map of Europe, a land shrouded in mystery and suspicion. With the fall of the regime, Albania faced the daunting task of rejoining the international community, of shedding its image as Europe's hermit kingdom and forging new alliances. The process was fraught with challenges. Albania's diplomatic corps, long dormant and inexperienced, had to learn the delicate art of international relations from scratch. The country's infrastructure, crippled by years of neglect, struggled to cope with the influx of foreign diplomats and aid workers. The legacy of Hoxha's paranoia lingered, making it difficult for some to shake off the suspicion that the outside world harbored ulterior motives. Yet, despite the obstacles, Albania made slow but steady progress. It joined international organizations, signed trade agreements, and opened its doors to foreign investment. The world, once kept at bay, began to trickle in, bringing with it new ideas, new technologies, and new opportunities. The transition was not without its bumps and stumbles. The legacy of Hoxha's regime, particularly its economic mismanagement, continued to cast a long shadow. Corruption, a persistent problem in post-communist societies, reared its ugly head. Yet, amidst the challenges, there was a palpable sense of hope, a belief that Albania was finally on the right track, that it had broken free from the shackles of its past and was charting a new course. A generation grappling with ghosts, unraveling the truths of the past. Emerging from Hoxha's shadow, a new generation faced the daunting task of confronting the past. Hoxha's legacy cast a long shadow but no longer held power. Raised on stories of hardship, they sought to understand their history. The process of reckoning with the past was not easy. The wounds of Hoxha's regime ran deep, dividing families and communities. The Sigurimi's network of informants left many unsure of whom to trust. For those who suffered directly, the pain and anger were raw. The government was initially hesitant to confront the crimes of the past. Pressure from human rights groups forced a gradual shift. Archives were opened, trials held, and efforts made to identify remains. Truth and reconciliation were slow but necessary steps. Confronting Hoxha's horrors, Albania began building a just society. Building a future on the ruins of the past, the promise and uncertainty of modern Albania. Modern Albania stands at a crossroads, caught between its history and a brighter future. The legacy of Hoxha's regime continues to shape the country's landscape. Scars of isolation and economic mismanagement are still visible. Despite challenges, hope and optimism are palpable. A new generation is eager to embrace opportunities. They are studying abroad, starting businesses, and engaging politically. The road ahead is far from easy. Albania faces challenges like poverty, corruption, and crime. Infrastructure needs investment, and democratic institutions are fragile. The spirit of resilience is alive and well. Albania is a land in transition, grappling with its past while striving for a brighter future. The Albanian people possess the strength, courage, and determination to overcome challenges and create a hopeful future. Echoes of isolation, the lingering legacy of a closed past. Albania's history is scarred by isolation under Enver Hoxha's regime. Concrete bunkers stand as reminders of past paranoia. These bunkers symbolize a time of fear and isolation. The scars of Hoxha's regime run deep, affecting society today. Albania unbound, embracing the uncertainties of a globalized world. Despite the lingering shadows of its past, Albania today is a nation transformed. Like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, it has shed its isolationist skin, spreading its wings to embrace the opportunities and challenges of a globalized world. The journey has been far from easy, marked by economic hardship, political instability, and the daunting task of rebuilding a society shattered by decades of repression. The fall of the Iron Curtain brought with it a wave of change that swept across Eastern Europe, and Albania was not immune to its transformative power. The influx of new ideas, new technologies, and new ways of thinking challenged long-held assumptions and ignited a yearning for progress and connection among its people, particularly the younger generation. Today, the streets of Tirana, once patrolled by the watchful eyes of the Sigurimi, pulse with a newfound energy. Cafes overflow with young people sipping espressos, their conversations a mix of Albanian and English, their eyes fixed on a future bright with possibility. The internet, once a forbidden portal to the outside world, has become a lifeline, connecting Albanians to the global community and providing a platform for the free exchange of ideas. The influx of tourists, drawn by Albania's pristine beaches, rugged mountains, and rich cultural heritage, is also helping to reshape the country's image. The world is finally discovering the hidden gem of the Balkans, a land of warmth, hospitality, and resilience. A legacy forged in resilience, the enduring spirit of the Albanian people. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Albania's transformation is not the physical changes it has undergone, but the enduring spirit of its people. Having endured centuries of foreign occupation followed by decades of brutal dictatorship, Albanians have emerged from the crucible of their history with a resilience and a determination that is nothing short of inspiring. Their capacity for forgiveness, for rebuilding their lives and their communities from the ashes of unimaginable hardship, speaks volumes about the strength of the human spirit. It's a spirit rooted in a deep sense of community, in the importance of family and tradition, and in an unwavering belief in a brighter future. The legacy of Hoxha's regime, while a dark chapter in Albania's history, also serves as a powerful reminder of the dangers of unchecked power, the importance of safeguarding human rights, and the need for vigilance in protecting democratic values. It's a lesson that Albanians, having learned it the hard way, are determined to never forget. Albania's story is far from over. It's a story still being written, a tapestry woven from the threads of its complex past and the aspirations of its people. As Albania continues its journey of healing and renewal, it does so with the unwavering support of the international community, a testament to the power of collaboration and the enduring belief in the promise of a better tomorrow.